Yo guys, what's up, man? Welcome to Urban Discussions, man. I'm JAVY. We got my boy King Beanie in the building. Yo, so whoa, yo, so welcome. Shout out to our sponsors, 50 Dreams Official. Without further ado, let's get into the nitty gritty, and also make sure to subscribe, guys, and hit the notification bell. So, censorship, censorship. What? Blank, whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? Like, we don't
Yeah.
want to say the words here on this channel, but you know, come on. I mean, we're grown ups, but for kids though, we gotta need that, man. Especially for the internet, man. The internet be doing too much nowadays. You know, they just make that joint just slip right
Well,
by the cracks in the fingers. Yeah, that's how they do. Goes through every
well,
airspace.
I have to say that if terms of service, because websites have their own rules. If you're breaking terms of service, then what's the need for the censorship? If a website clearly says something like a kid under 13 isn't supposed to be here because this content on here is teenagers and up. So you know at that point there's going to be cursing, there's going to be more adult themes. Those should be more respected and enforced.
Yeah, I agree because you know we live in an era where the internet age don't care. They love their love. They just don't care at all. I remember back in the day, let's say like 2005, 2000s, we used to watch music videos on YouTube, and they had every rap song that we listened to. There was the cleanest version of the cleanest version. The only dirty version that you would ever get is from an album that you go buy from the stores at like FYE, or you go to Barnes and Noble, you go buy your CDs. Back in the day when we had CDs, and you know, especially when we start transitioning to the digital age, where we noticed we started seeing less censorship because that's where we started seeing a broad variety of the more dirty version, as if you will, of of music videos. I noticed that since I've been watching music videos on YouTube, and it startled me. I said, "Whoa!" I said, "Yo, finally!" Where has this been? I don't want to hear the skippings of the words.
Yeah.
But then, that's just on our end as adults as we're growing up. But now, what about the kids that's out? They're listening to this. Then it's like, hey, man, what
Well,
happened to the clean versions and all that stuff? That's when your brain really starts to think about these things. Being
well, put it this way. The songs that you grew up listening to and even I grew up listening to. Now, if I told you the story of Rocket Queen, that song isn't for kids. The
hmm
rap songs you grew up listening to, they really aren't for kids. But
right.
YouTube back then, you had to, you, even today, you have to put the videos up there because that's where the eyes are.
hmm
Censorship, like tiny little things, is okay. But what I'm talking about is what happened even last year involving Twitch. We talked about this, but it's very important to bring up.
Yeah.
Censoring words, simp, incel, and virgin. And we missed this, but a larger streamer, Minx, got banned for joking with their fans by calling one of them a simp as a joke. She
hmm
got banned for a week for what they perceive as bad. But now you are going into communities that are built in the internet. These communities use words separately and differently.
hmm I'm glad that you brought up Twitch, man, because I was just thinking about that too. I was thinking in my mind, hey, Twitch, like okay, as I was gonna say, let's talk about. I was gonna say let's talk about things like Twitch, for example. But I'm glad you brought it up. Since you brought it up, I'm gonna touch up a bit on it. Try to prolong that part of Twitch on that situation. But Twitch, they gotta find some sort of way to actually censor that joint because there are words, as Beanies did say, that are very offensive to the community. And I think the only way they can censor this is probably most likely doing something like YouTube does. They have like a YouTube Kids side and a YouTube just for just regular YouTube for 13 and up. Maybe have a Twitch for kids and then have a Twitch for 13 and up. But at the same time, kids lie about their age, and it's gonna be hard for them to figure that out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's something that I honestly think it's really hard to censor things nowadays because kids are smart and they'll find every single little way to sign up for the more mature uh group, the more mature not patch, the more mature settings. So
Yeah.
that's gonna be something hard for Twitch to cover their trail on.
But I brought up communities. So certain communities, like use the word simp, which really isn't offensive. It's taken as a joke on the internet. Now they use it as like, yeah, they're just calling each other simps back and forth because that's their whole thing. They're just giving money. They're simps. Funny. But when you start like enforcing those like tiny rules, those new rules in communities, you either force a change which shouldn't happen, or you're forcing something maybe it should, but in other cases, I'm talking about it shouldn't happen. When a community works better that way. Because then you, how do I describe it? You start going too far. You start taking more and more. You take harmless words that don't really mean too much because they're used so much.
Yeah, and then sometimes you're on the petty side because like I feel like they do some communities they do roll on the petty side of certain things. Like you say the word simp, you say some other words that may come up in the future. They're gonna be like, "Yo, man, it's not that offensive, but you're taking it too far." You know what I'm saying? Like they like to push those kind of limits so much. I believe.
But there's a saying: you give them an inch, they take a mile.
Facts.
So, a lot of with tech companies, no matter what they are, you're signing up their agreement. So that's the inch you give, and you try to live your life under those rules that they initially give you. Then they just start taking more and more till there's so little left. You become homogenized in what they feel a creator should be.
Mm-hmm.
Which, at that point, how do I describe it? Makes everything boring and similar.
Mm-hmm.
So, the question is, yes, censorship is necessary for I'm going to be playing both sides, but it's necessary for very offensive things that maybe shouldn't be said on certain sites without the context needed. That's when it's needed. Or if you want to try to target things towards kids, you try to censor the stuff there.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree because that's true because you know like things, this is not just censorship isn't I know a lot of people gonna think when they're listening to this, they're gonna think that censorship is just about the kids. It's not just about the kids, it's about, us too as adults, where we stand and how we view things and how we take things because most of us don't take things that lightly. And some of us feel offended by it because that's just the nature of that's just the human nature, how the human nature rolls around, and how you really see it as an aspect of saying like, if I call, let's say for example, if I call Beanie like a certain name, or I call anybody on here a certain name, or if I target a certain community out there, you guys are gonna feel offended. So that's quite the obvious thing. So censorship, that's the perfect example of censorship. Uh, where we have to see the way we see censorship is, you know, it needs to be more expanded. The expansiveness is not, it's not really there. I see Beanie shaking his head.
It needs to be. I don't think it should. You expand it. That creates more problems.
Yeah, but no, 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 not like, yeah, I know, yeah, that's true. Like what I meant to say, Beanie caught me there. Beanie caught me before I go over to fix myself.
Yeah.
What I meant to say, my bad, guys. Beanie's right. Beanie caught me. Beanie caught me. He caught me on the spot. He caught me on the spot. But what I meant to say is, it needs to be, um, in the certain areas, it needs to be caught. Because if it's not caught in certain areas, that I meant to say, it will be, it's something that, people are not gonna tolerate, and I don't blame them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the way it is. It's just how it is. Censorship needs to be out there, but not expensive to the point where it's just ridiculous. Not like 5G or your iPhones or Apple or Android. Not that type of expensive where everybody has phones in their hands type of thing. Not like that, but in certain communities, censorship needs to be, uh, what do you call the word, Beanie? Help me out here. Help me out here. It needs to be, more, more, more,
More.
more,
I
more, more,
use.
more, more.
I would use like relevant or prevalent because that's like in those certain groups. That's where it needs to be. But in the general of it, you have it too much. I I'm gonna keep repeating this, but this is the most I have to. You have it too much. You create people that act the same, think the same, kind of just follow the same trends to the point where it's just you see it in communities now, which causes a lot of problems between multiple different types of communities.
Mm,
Because homogenization isn't a good thing. Because everyone is someone different, something different. You act different, you look different, you feel different, and that's okay. But once you try to blend everything together, then the people that, like in some groups, every group is gonna clash.
hmm Let's all remember
So,
too that we're all humans too. So guys, we can't be bashing each other, man. That's not the right thing to do.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how it is. In this world, bashing each other is something that we've been at since way before our great grandfathers were here on this planet. So like, it's just really crazy, how we came this far. It's still the same way, etc., etc. I mean, my goodness, man, we bashing each other like crazy. Let's take, for example, oh my goodness, Beanie, we have to mention Twitter on censorship.
oh,
Twitter
that's
is
that's where I was going.
hot. Twitter, bro.
That's
Yes,
where I was going.
that's the hot spot, man. That's the hot spot,
So
brother.
I I've been on Twitter long enough to know this terminology. In this giant Minecraft gaming community, the where Dream is popular,
Mhm.
there are people that will do anything for him to the point where they're crazy enough, and it's seen. Now then you get people that are against them. They are fighting all the time, but to the point where it's stupid. Instead, and they're not being. I have. They're allowed to say mostly whatever they want in reason,
Mhm.
but The problem is that a lot of people think that like silencing a group is the right thing to do. Instead, you have to get people that are willing to outliers of insert groups are willing to talk to each other and try to find that middle ground. That same talking point, like, yeah, you don't like him, but I like him. I don't understand why you don't like this guy, because this. But maybe if you've seen this, it might change your mind or might make you understand why I like him.
Right. But yeah, but everybody is entitled to have their own opinion, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, that's something that, really can't be censored. But it depends how you have your opinions.
Yes. Because that's the point where we say that's when it gets too offensive. Because there's always an upper limit to everything. But in like the normal setting, you could reason it out as long as people are willing to cooperate.
Mm-hmm. Imagine on Twitter, like somebody's just on there, and then especially for celebrity versus celebrity, and it is texting, like just talking about each other. Imagine one of them is drunk and they don't know what they're writing. Then the next day they wake up, you be like, "Oh, I said that." They'd be like, "Oh no!" They'd be like, "Yo, that's not me, man. That's my drunk side." Because that's how some of them say. By the way, guys, JAVY doesn't drink. JAVY doesn't drink. Warning: JAVY doesn't drink. But like at the same time, man, like it be like that though. I hear stories of how people are drunk and stuff, and they write stuff on Twitter, and they say some things they don't mean to say, and all that stuff. It takes them to the. It brings out the dark side, man. It's crazy. It brings out that craziness. They bring when you drink, it's like like they say the demons come out, bro. When they be drinking, bro, they be doing some crazy stuff. They be like, as soon as they take a little step, like, yeah, man, yeah, what's up? And they be like that, bro.
That doesn't happen. Instant they say that joke, people are on their ass. They just realize it in the morning because they're probably like, so I drink, but if I'm drinking, it's like 3 or 4 at most. And mostly it's like 1. That's not enough to make me do anything bad. But let's say I had like 7, 8, 9 and start saying stuff. That's when you get to that problem where you're just saying whatever and doing whatever.
Word, that's the crazy part, man. Like I don't it'd be like that sometimes. Sometimes on Twitter it'd be like that. You don't know what's going on. You really don't know what's going on. Sometimes there just be some crazy stuff being put on there, and it's just there. They just put it up there just to create attention. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Twitter is like the attention seeker. It really is. It's an attention seeker. So you put something up stupid, you don't actually mean it. But sometimes people mean it, and that's crazy if they mean it. But if you don't mean it, then they're just doing that just to, say, hey, I'm still here. I want attention. I'm an attention seeker. So what are you people? Now all of a sudden, like people start to roast you, all those type of things. That you sit there, you're wondering, wow, I regret putting that up. And be like that most of the time.
But see, what you're saying is they don't realize, because I'm just saying it doesn't happen because right when you say something, it's people will go on them.
Yeah, like Beanie hitting his batch. Like Beanie hitting the back.
Don't be horny. I will wonk you with this thing. But as I'm saying, what I'm saying is this goes to the point where I'm gonna leave with this final point, but for censorship with Twitter, it goes to the point where people are crazy enough to find old tweets of jokes that were funny back like 4 or 5 years ago and try to just blame the person who made that paint them as a bad person for saying a joke that they found funny so long ago that it doesn't matter anymore. Or maybe they still do, but they're not saying it as much or not enacting or not saying it in that group on public, but they're with their friends, where it's that friend group's joke.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know who that tweet was made for. You don't know who that thing was made for to see. It could be before the fame.
Right. And then it's like they like to dwell on the past most of the time. That's how fans are, and that's how and it's not just, it's really fans. Hey, yo, it's not just fans, it's family too, cause like they can put something up and they say, hey, I'm the cousin of this, or I'm the blah 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 blah, and then they start, people say, whoa, that's what happened, or it could be a friend, an old friend, a friend that you left in the past, and they just come back to like just say something just to make your career go down the hill, or they're trying to make your career grimish, or something like that. They're trying to put you through some real dark times. It just be like that sometimes, and that's something that that's the scary part. Like it's Twitter, it's sensitive. It's like glass. Twitter's like Twitter's like glass, man. It's like fragile glass. You drop that joint, it shatters. That's how it is. That's Twitter.
And Twitter will agree with the people trying to censor, and they will, since they see it, they use it as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that's very negative. That will cause more problems in this world than you will even realize, because you're in that, not you, but who's ever, some people are listening, they're in that mindset. And it's not everyone. You're in that mindset that everything must be negative when it's said or something. And sometimes it is. But you also have to, I keep repeating myself, because you have to understand that years go by and people grow up in years. Someone that was a teenager saying that joke doesn't have the same emotional attachment to that joke, same understanding as they did when they were that age.
That's true. Yo, man, all people of all ages. We got my adults out here. We got my teenagers out here. I know there's little kids watching this because y'all find your way to sneak and watch this. But no, we ain't cussing and stuff like that. But so guys, that's it. Without further ado, I'm JAVY. We got my boy.
I'm King Beanie.
And peace out, guys. See you in the next one. Later.